Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am RMZ. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like button and the subscribe button so we can build this channel. And feel free to comment. I will answer back. I love talking to you folks in the comments. So, I've been advocating for men openly talking about their health issues. So, I wanted to come on and do this because Um, it's been some stuff that I've been dealing with. As many of you know, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and I went through radiation treatment almost a year ago, starting almost a year ago. I started in February of last year, which went through, I think the last day of April was my last treatment. And during that treatment, I did have some battles with fatigue. I was always one that would get up before work. I would get up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym just about every morning. And once I started treatment, probably about a week or two in, I started feeling the effects from the radiation. They told me that I would probably feel a little lethargic once I started the radiation. So I had to alter my schedule a little bit. I just didn't have the energy to get up before work and go. So I would try to go after work. And always hate going after work because the machines, the gym is just so crowded. But I would get up and go after work when I could. And once the radiation treatment ended, I was expecting to regain my energy level, but it never fully returned. And I started getting some blood work, and they showed some anomalies. As you may remember, my white blood counts were either below where they needed to be or at the very low end of the reference range. I think they got as low as 3.8, and they pretty much hovered around that mark, around between 3.8 and 4.2 or 4.3. And my absolute lymphocytes were also drastically reduced. And I went through the whole rigmarole with the doctors, all the people, all the doctors that were handling my care for prostate cancer were telling me that the radiation wouldn't cause these drops, even though online there is plenty of literature around radiation doing just that for those specific metrics like the white blood count and the absolute lymphocytes. My primary was also telling me that my radiation is causing this, and so I got sent to a hematologist. Hematologist also said no, so I'm kind of you know back and forth. I'm pretty sure that this was the cause of the drop in those two metrics. They're slowly come back up to normal ranges, but they are on the very low end. I think my absolute lymphocytes are, I think the last time I checked were like 1,000 or so. So 1,000, which is on the low end of the reference range. But comparatively, they historically they had been somewhere around 25, 2,600. Um, so that fatigue that I had been feeling during the treatment continued. So I was thinking that this was probably the source of that fatigue, but I also wanted to check on other things. I heard a lot of men in the community talking about getting their testosterone tested and doing some TRT therapy. So I asked my primary, actually the backup for my primary, because my primary is out on maternity leave. So I asked that primary if I could be referred for a testosterone check, and my numbers came back. Um, my total testosterone level was normal, but my bioavailable testosterone was low, and my um, SHBG was significantly elevated, which is making the bioavailability of my testosterone low. So that could be a reason as to why I'm continuing to feel this fatigue. So of course, my once those results came back, the primary referred me to an endocrinologist, And the endocrinologist ran this whole gamut of tests, and I just got some of the results back. I still have to go back and meet with him, um, and had some very interesting results. My I have, we have a FSH hormone in our body, and for men, there's an interplay between the FSH hormone and testosterone. The pituitary gland releases FSH hormone to signal the testes to create more sperm. And my my FSH hormone was way off the charts. I think the top of the reference range is like 16, and I'm at 31.5. So I'm nearly double what the top end of the reference range is. And the reason my level is so high, from what I understand, is that there's these cells that create sperm in the body within the testes, and when those cells are damaged, they stop producing a hormone called Hormone B, I think it's called. So the brain response is your pituitary gland notices the lack of inhibin, so it starts yelling and screaming at your body by increasing the levels of FSH, and that's to try to get the testes to work to create the sperm. So as a result, you end up with primary hypergonadism. So the cells that create my testosterone aren't affected, so they're able to create enough testosterone in my body, but it requires a much higher push from the brain by releasing LH hormone and FSH hormone in order for that to be done. So essentially my body is working in overdrive to maintain the normal testosterone level. And in its compensated state, I can stay exhausted, which is likely a contributor to my fatigue. And so this has been going on for almost a year. My testes aren't responding because they have been destroyed by the cells in them that create that sperm have been destroyed by the radiation treatment, which is something that I knew was going to happen. They told me that I wouldn't be able um, to my body wouldn't be able to create sperm going forward, which isn't a thing which is not a thing for me, because I'm about to be 52. I don't want any more kids. My kids are 31 and 29. So, and I now have a grandson. I've been married for all these years. And believe me, my wife and I are not having any more kids. So that was not a concern for me. But what they didn't tell me is that there would be an interplay that can also cause fatigue. And combine that with the fact that my body and my liver is releasing a lot of SHBG. I think my level is at 54. So it's significantly higher than where it should be. And that SHBG is binding with a large portion of my total testosterone, which is bringing down the bioavailability of my testosterone. So all these things are working together to likely keep me in a state of fatigue. I don't have the same drive that I had prior to starting that radiation treatment. I really have to force myself to get up and go to the gym. And that was much easier on the days that I didn't want to do, when I didn't want to go to the gym, and I would go anyway and felt like I had and I would go and feel like I just had the best workout ever. But now I'm having trouble getting to the gym because I can't get up at 4 a.m. and head to the gym anymore. And I don't have the energy at the end of the day after work to go to the gym. So like a lot of times I just don't end up going. And most of the times I just don't end up going. I think the last time I went to the gym was probably January 2nd was the last time I went to the gym. And even then, it was a lot easier for me to go then, because it was, I was staying in a hotel. We were on vacation, so I was able to go down every day and hit the gym. Um, but it's a lot harder for me to get out the house, especially early in the morning, and go to the gym, or come home from work after a long day of work and get in the mindset of going to the gym and having to fight for access to a lot of the machines and weights that I use. Um, But on top of all of that, I've also been dealing with some physical ailments that I recently got checked out and started getting checked out in December. When we were on vacation, I was really struggling with a lot of low back pain, and my back would just lock up on me. I couldn't bend over. I would have to bend my knees in order to get down low enough to pick something up off the ground. Um, I had pain across the back, the entirety of my low back, groin pain on both sides, testicular pain both sides, and thigh pain, which when it's at its highest, it causes me to limp. And so when we got back from vacation, I went to the doctor and talked to the doctor about it, and had a so he referred me for an MRI. I still have to go back in and see him after I was able to gather the results, and I uploaded the results into ChatGPT just to get a better understanding of what I was reading and what I was looking at, and compared it to, I think last had an MRI same area in 2020, either 2020 or 2021, and there was a lot of changes from that from the last MRI to this MRI. So I have degenerative disc disease, disc dehydration, and disc space narrowing across almost the entirety of my lumbar down to my S1. And I also have disc space narrowing. I have multiple disc herniations with for more ferromino, I think that's how you pronounce it, stenosis at multiple levels. So from L2 to L3, L3 to L4, L4 to F5, so L4 to L5, and L5 to S1. And then with L4 to L5, I have slippage. So the L4 here is slipped out over the L5. So there's a misalignment there because there's a tendon that's on the back end of those L4, pretty much the whole spine. But at that particular area, L4, L5, there's what they call hypertrophy, and it is thickened at 5.5 millimeters. So it's significantly thickened and coming loose. So it's not able to hold those two together as strong as they should be and protect the nerves. So I don't know what's going to come from that. I don't know if I have to have another surgery. And hopefully I can get back in with him soon to find out where to go. But on top of that, I've also been dealing with some shoulder issues. I think I mentioned before I started Zepbound, I was, my right arm was frozen. I couldn't lift it up above 90 degrees. And I have full range of motion. The pain is still there. It's been getting worse, and but was able to push through. But now my left shoulder is flamed up and has been pretty much since summer, but I've been fighting through it. I know, being one of those guys, this is going to tough it out, and I toughed it out for as long as I could. But in December, I went to the orthopedics, to the orthopedic doctor, had them look at both my shoulders. My left is worse than my right because I can't now. This one I can't lift up higher than this when I lift out from my side, and it's painful. It hurts like hell. Um, so I got a cortisone shot in there and been doing some physical therapy. The cortisone shot didn't work. The physical therapy isn't working. Um, when I had my follow-up appointment with that doctor, they said it was feeling worse and tighter to them, so they sent me in for MRI. So I had actually two MRIs back to back. I had the back MRI on like a Wednesday, and then the shoulder MRI on a Thursday. Um, So the shoulder MRI found that I had a tear of the supraspinatus, I think that's supraspinatus, at the footprint. So I think that's where it attaches at. So supraspinatus is a tear of the supraspinatus at the footprint on background of tendinosis, which is degeneration of the tendon instead of inflammation. So tendinitis is inflammation, and this is deterioration, deterioration of the tendon. So tendinosis. On top of that, and then I also have tendinosis of the long head bicep tendon and degenerative frame of the supralabrum with AC joint osteoarthritis. So I've been doing physical therapy since pretty much the start of the year. It hasn't gotten better. It's actually been feeling worse. Actually, both have been feeling worse. And I have a follow-up appointment with the doctor on the 9th. So to see what I need to do for this one. So this might be yet another surgery. So um, a lot of a combination of old age, I guess, catching up with me, along with all the damage that I did with football. So that's where things stand with me. I'm staying positive through it all, but the one thing I really want to get back is my energy. So hopefully, I can figure a way either through TRT. And I also have to find out if I'm a candidate for it, because I don't know if I'm far enough out from my prostate cancer diagnosis and treatment, specifically the treatment, in order to start injecting testosterone in my body. I hope I am, and because I think that will help me with my energy level and my motivation to get back into the gym once I get these other things wrapped up. So, um, man, get out there and go to the doctor. Stop toughing it out. Even though I've been guilty of it on numerous occasions, I've been toughing it out with my back and with my shoulder and with my fatigue. So I finally made the decision to go get checked out, and I hope it's not all bad news. I hope that things can be turned around here, and whatever the case is, it is what it is. So keep me in your thoughts as I try to navigate this. I'll keep you guys updated on where things go. It's going to be, everything's going to be all to the good. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Feel free to ask me questions down in the comments, and or maybe give me your experiences if you have been experiencing some of the same things. And I'll talk to you later.